Alright, Cowboys Nation, brace yourselves. Something absolutely seismic has just erupted in the world of the NFL, and yes, it's coming straight out of Dallas. In what might be one of the most shocking and controversial moves in recent Cowboys history, possibly even in the Jerry Jones era, we've just witnessed a decision so drastic, so bold, that fans, players, and insiders alike are reeling from the aftershocks. A star player, one of the franchise's cornerstones, has officially been cut, punished, or otherwise dropped out of favor, not because of injury, not because of performance, but because of a contract clause tied to offseason commitment. We're talking about one of the most respected players in the secondary, a Pro Bowl caliber name, someone who has helped anchor the defense and deliver crucial plays, game after game. And yet, Jerry Jones, in a move that's being talked about as either genius-level accountability or tone-deaf madness, has pulled the trigger on a cold, calculated contract punishment. You might be asking yourself, why now? Why this player? What's the long-term plan? And we're going to break it all down right here, right now, so buckle up. First off, let's talk about the environment in Dallas. This team has always been more than just a football franchise. It's an empire, a legacy, a drama that unfolds like a blockbuster series, season after season. Jerry Jones, as both owner and de facto general manager, has crafted a brand that's as much about media spectacle as it is about gridiron success. And that duality, performance versus publicity, is at the heart of this shocking move. The Cowboys front office has made it abundantly clear that no one, no matter how famous or skilled, is above team policy. The message is unmistakable: show up, buy in, or get left behind. And this time, that message was delivered at full volume. The player in question, known for his high-impact plays, his energy, and his Pro Bowl-level consistency, is suddenly on the chopping block, not due to any on-field shortcomings, but because he didn't attend enough voluntary workouts. That's right, off-season workouts. According to league insiders, the player chose to spend more time training independently, citing personal rehab or off-season programs out of state. Now, while this is common practice for many veterans in the league, the Cowboys decided to enforce a clause that docked him millions. It wasn't just about money, it was a line in the sand. It was Jerry Jones telling the locker room, "This is how we do things here, and if you step outside the system, there are consequences." Fans are stunned. NFL insiders are buzzing. Players around the league are watching closely. Because let's be real, this doesn't happen often. You don't typically see star players penalized this harshly for voluntary offseason decisions unless there's a deeper message at play. And with Jerry, there's always a message. Let's rewind a bit. This offseason has been one of the most chaotic in recent memory for Dallas. The team has already made major moves, trading away key defensive stars, renegotiating contracts, shifting philosophies. There's a power shakeup happening behind closed doors. Rumors have swirled about locker room tension, coaching disagreements, and a renewed focus on younger, cheaper talent. We've seen Jones make drastic roster overhauls before, but never quite like this. This time, the focus seems to be on resetting the culture entirely, not just tweaking personnel, but rewriting the rulebook. And this player's situation, in many ways, is the first major test of that new approach. Some fans are cheering. They see it as a return to discipline, to accountability. They're tired of watching high-priced veterans coast through seasons without postseason results. They want fire, urgency, grit, and if that means ruffling some feathers, so be it. Others, however, are furious. They see this as a betrayal, a tone-deaf slap in the face to a player who gave everything on the field. They point to the lack of playoff success under Jerry's leadership and ask, how does punishing loyal talent get us closer to a championship? And the split is very real. You can feel it on social media, in fan forums, on talk radio. There's a storm brewing in Cowboys Nation, and this move is only fueling it further. What makes it even more shocking is the timing. Just weeks before the regular season kicks off, the Cowboys are making headlines not for their game plans, but for front office drama. And let's be honest, that's not new. Dallas has long walked the tightrope between football excellence and reality show entertainment. But this time, it feels like the stakes are even higher. With their playoff hopes hanging in the balance, and with fans demanding results, the pressure on this roster is unmatched. And the players know it. Inside the locker room, this move sends shockwaves. If a beloved, high-performing player can be cut or penalized over off-season workouts, then no one is safe. It's a chilling wake-up call. Younger players might see it as a warning sign. Veterans might see it as disrespect. Coaches now have to navigate a fractured atmosphere, balancing morale with performance. And all the while, the media firestorm grows. Pundits are having a field day. One former Cowboy turned analyst called it a betrayal of trust. Another said, "Jerry's playing with fire discipline is good, but don't confuse it with control." National headlines scream about a culture clash brewing in Dallas. Meanwhile, other franchises are watching closely because if this approach succeeds, it could spark a league-wide shift in player management. But if it fails, it could become the latest chapter in a long history of Cowboys controversies that distract from actual football. And let's not forget the human element. This player who's been a fan favorite, a mentor, a competitor is now being used as a symbol. He didn't just lose money, he lost trust in the organization, and perhaps the will to stay long-term. Could we see a request for trade? Could this be the beginning of the end for his Cowboys career? It's too soon to tell, but the writing is on the wall. And speaking of writing, the script for the 2025 Cowboys season just got a major rewrite. What was shaping up to be a redemption arc has now become a psychological thriller. Players are on edge, fans are split, management is all in on this high-stakes approach. And Jerry Jones, as always, is at the center pulling the strings, speaking in riddles, and redefining what it means to run America's team. So where do we go from here? First, all eyes are on how this move affects team chemistry. Does it light a fire under the roster? Or does it divide the locker room further? Second, fans will want to see if this decision translates to wins. That's the bottom line. If the Cowboys go 5-2 out of the gate, this controversy might fade. But if they stumble early, you better believe this decision will be thrown back in the team's face again and again. And finally, there's the long-term legacy question. Jerry Jones is no stranger to criticism. He's built a billion-dollar empire, a media machine, and a global brand. But championships? That's another story. Will this season be remembered as the year he finally turned the tide or the year he lost the locker room for good? We'll be watching. And as always, Cowboys Nation, we want to hear from you. Do you support this move? Was it necessary discipline or unnecessary drama? Is Jerry taking the right stand, or is he just playing God with his roster? Sound off in the comments. Hit that like button if you love the game, and don't forget to subscribe because this season is just